Okay, let's practice for this. The theme is let's challenge executive mentality. So first thing is, how come they always say, keep it short, keep it short? Okay? Every time you're gonna come into a meeting with executives, they'll tell you, anyone around you will tell you, make sure to keep it short. Make sure not to provide too many details. Their attention span is this much. They have too much on their heads. Make sure you just go straight to the point. But what's the point? What information do they want to hear? Many times is they don't know. So that's the first thing. What do they want to hear? Why do they always say keep it short? What does short even mean? Now, the thing is that many of them would say they don't have time for smooshy details, fluffy details. They just don't have time for details, period. They don't care about it. Well, some don't care about it. Some do care about it. They care too much about the details. They go too much into the weeds of the projects. Others don't care about any of the details until shit hits the ground. However, when we are talking about planning and giving them insights, some of the stuff that's going to take to get to the result that they're expecting happens to need a discussion about those mushy, fluffy details that they don't want to hear. Because that's really where the help from them is going to be needed. That's where they need to understand the amount of support that is required from them in order to deliver the end product. So how come when things go wrong, they do have the time? They have the time for the smooshy details. They have the time for the meeting. They have the time. They make the time if they don't have it. They always find time. And at that particular time, they want the insights. So why is that? Why is it that now we have time, but then at the beginning of the project, there's no time? We don't care about anything. We don't really care about the insights. We care about just a few things about the project, like we're talking about return of investment in terms of quantitative data. Qualitative data, I don't care. I don't care about that. Don't talk to me about that. There's no dollar sign associated to it. I don't care about that. People problems, I don't care about that. Okay? Technology problems, I don't care about that. You go ahead and you resolve those issues. But then there's a shift in mentality when things go wrong, or when a mistake is made, regardless of if the mistake was fixed. Okay? If the idea that when the big picture, that when things are smooth, the big picture company feels enough for them. But when problems hit, they are looking for every thread to pull, is a mentality that we should be talking about. It's like a switch. It's about control. When we start a project, they're in control. They don't want the details. If something goes wrong, they're in control. Now they want all the details. Okay? It's not that they're going to solve the issue. They might even become a stone in the path of the project because everything was already resolved. And we mediated. And we had a lessons learned. It's not going to happen again. It might even didn't cost anything, it didn't really alter the cost of the project. But however, they still want to be in control. Ironic, if they would give the same amount of importance to things going wrong as, to when the project is starting, things will run a lot smoother. A lot of fires could be prevented from, if they would put more attention up front in the project instead of like later. It's about proactive engagement so that it can lead to a smoother sailing experience. We're not saying that we want higher ups deep in the weeds. Because honestly, most of the time, they do become obstacles. They want to know too much, and they do become impediments. They want to become experts when they are really supporters. They should be asking, give me enough information so that I understand what the project is about, the phases of the project, who's involved, and then how can I support you? It's about striking a balance. It's about them grasping what support really means without micromanaging. It's really about alignment. When they provide the support needed at the right time, they minimize creating friction, and instead it helps create a flow in the project, right? Leadership should be asking themselves these questions. Instead of like putting this tough act of like, yeah, I'm in a leadership position. Yeah, I'm an executive level position, the C-suite. Yes, I'm in the board of directors. Don't have time. Short enough. Dismissing people, having a certain attitude just because of their position. They should think about how to change, how to shift that mentality. And this is where this comes into play. People skills. This is not only for like your line employees, this is for everyone. These are not optional anymore. Having the right attitude in a organization is for everyone. Pulling the numbers is no longer enough. Being good at your job, your duty, is not enough if you don't have the right attitude. Okay? So, we're talking about soft skills, cultivating relationships. Yes, cultivating relationships, not only with the people at your level. Listening skills. This is where people are talking to you and you're actually listening to what they're saying so that you can ask questions. Conversational skills. Body language, posture. Like when somebody comes into your office and you are like writing stuff down. And just like the person is just standing in front of you and you're just like ignoring them. Like that person is not there. Rude. Who wants that? Nobody wants that. Swearing and offensive language is when you start yelling and throwing things out and being super disrespectful to people and expect for them just to be okay with it just because you have whatever position. No. So a lot of the times unfortunately, when people get called into these meetings, that they need to prep to brief these executives on what happened, what went wrong. We're not really looking for solutions. They're not really looking for what happened and how it got resolved and how we're gonna avoid this happening again. The conversation might happen, but it's not really what we go after many times. We are really looking for who to blame. We forget about everything else that's happened, the sweat and tears of a whole team. Everything that has taken for a team to get to X point in the project, to X stage in the project, and then now it's time to blame someone or a team or to get somebody fired. This often comes down to personality. Like, who's that person who wants to know all this? Because you can have I'm always angry. Okay? I'm always angry. This is most likely the person who you are talking to and it's like heads down. I'm not looking at you. I will only talk to you when I need to. And I expect you to run when I call you. So you most likely are going to have this person running the meeting, this person not using any of the skills we just talked about, and is running the show out of fear and not respect. And people to come into the meetings where this person is at and they have to brief this person on something will get together and set up a story and avoid being 100% transparent because they know that this person is going to give them crap, because this person doesn't really want to know the truth. This person is just looking for who to blame. He's not or she's not looking for alignment. This causes for people to have anxiety when they're going to talk to them or not care. They're like, well, whatever, we'll just tell them whatever. Maybe you can have this other type of leader who is confident and shows up, and this is the kind of leader you want, the one that's confident, because then this person is looking for alignment. You know, you can look them straight in the eye, talk to them, they'll listen to you, and you can share the real story, because this person is leading out of respect. Also, this person, a catalyst, right? Again, you can be briefing these people and you'll feel like, hey, I'm okay. And also this person. So it will look something like, let me see if I can put it here. Maybe here. Imagine this. You're having look at that. Look at how this one is just popping out. It's just horrible. Imagine giving out a presentation and then this is what you encounter. So you don't want people coming into a conference room to brief you on something that went wrong, scared, full of anxiety, okay? You want people to come in, you don't want people to be like crying outside of the conference room looking for support because this person is going to be there. When you're like all confused as to what to bring in, what to say, what not to say, because you're walking on eggshells because this person is going to be there. You know the questions are just attacks. You want to be able to walk into a conference room and feel at peace. And the same thing happens I'm sorry. The same thing happens when you are going to brief them on a project. This person is already upset because that's their personality. When they go in, they're not really listening. They're ready to attack. You never know because that person is never happy with what you're showing them. But this person has never come forward and said, this is my expectations. This is what I would like to see. Instead, they're like, this is a piece of crap. I don't want to see this. Why you put this together? This is too much. But the person is not consulting with anybody else. Because the person doesn't care. Again, it's a position thing. It's not about alignment, it's about me. It's always about showing that I'm in control. But in reality, by doing that, you're not in control, because behind your back, people are setting up stories. People don't really care for you. People don't respect you. And if you are truly a good leader, you should have a space for honest reflection, where honest reflection can happen and not fear. The best leaders know and teams know that mistakes do happen, that things won't go perfectly. We always need to go back and understand what did we learn. We need to make sure that we don't repeat the same mistakes over and over. Talk about what we can improve. And the numbers do matter, but we need to remember that we need to foster an environment of growth. And growth means making mistakes and learning from them. There are some mistakes that, yes, we cannot ignore, but the end game is not for every mistake we have to look for someone to blame. The executives behave like this, where they don't have time, where they're cutting off people while they're talking, where they're disrespectful, where their personality is based on fear and, swearing and just not caring. Their body language says, I don't care. It need to just work through, flip the script. What about if you were the person giving out? If this is the person that has to breathe, and then there's a person evaluating, and you're the person that has to breathe, and you were treated the way you treat other people, how would that feel? You're gonna tell me, well, I have thick skin. Well, when it happens all the time, I bet you that thick skin starts getting thinner. And maybe your bosses treat you that way. Maybe it's your past history, your past experiences, and this is why you think you have to behave this way. Well, maybe this environment is different. Maybe it will be a good thing for all of you to sit down and talk about what you see from each other. How can you have better results where you get full alignment, full transparency, where you earn the respect of everyone, instead of having the shit shows. talk to the people who are at this end. Maybe I wouldn't want you to be part of those conversations because I don't trust you. Okay? So maybe we can have a workshop with some other people that are around you and see how they feel about how you behave, how you present yourself, the areas of improvement. Because all of this is attitude. And you know, the only thing, you can tell me I'm old, I cannot change, or maybe you're too young and you feel like you can, like, you know, you're in charge of the world. Well, the reality is attitude is something that you're in charge of. You can change it anytime. It's up to you. Maybe you don't want to hear what people have to say, but maybe nobody's ever told you some of the areas of improvement. Maybe it's a good time. Because things and times have changed. And there's a difference between being assertive and being an asshole. Also, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that accountability needs to be out of the equation. Accountability still needs to be there. But we need to do it respectfully. Hello? Bien. Estoy en la biblioteca. Ah, no sé. Está lo que está allí, ¿no? Tengo que chequear si algo me puso. También pues yo chequeo en casa cuando llegue. Está bien. Okay. Okay. Bye. Okay, so to finish this off, what I'm saying is, I'm not asking you to be a buddy. What I'm asking you is not to be a bully. I'm also saying you matter, what you bring to the table matters, but the employees at the other end of the table matter as well. Okay? So it is time to talk, to have those conversations. There's so many things that can be done to improve. It's just a matter of whether or not you want to improve. Are you ready?